Chapter 30, Sly. I don't have time to properly explain before the ground rumbles. Katra, followed by 3 guards buffer than Bomani, arrive and run to the other side of the path, essentially getting ready to trap us, as long as we're okay jumping around the rocks. They're not doing it, so maybe it would be easy to lose our footing and tumble. Maybe I can quickly go back to those pens I left in that room and edit my writing, get Bentley to get us in this pyramid right now. I just hope this isn't the day I think it is, but Slight and Common confronting someone like this screams the exact tale he would later write down. I've kept you and your vermin alive to show merciful suffering, Katra says, as she begins walking rather than running to us. She seems to think she's got us outmaneuvered completely. She may have a point. Not a mistake I will show again. I considered dropping the book so I can use both hands to fight, but I just can't. I drop this book and there will likely be no way anyone can find me. Katra, Bomani, and the rest of her guards see me holding the book. The guards who arrested us saw me with a similar book. They'll know they're valuable to me and burn them all in a big campfire. I don't finish my thought before something kind of unexplainable happens. A giant vehicle appears in the middle of the room. It's flying. It's giant and thick. Its roof hits the room's roof and causes rubble to fall down. I can feel the pyramid itself loosening. Wait, this vehicle... It's a blimp, and it looks really familiar. Some kind of thick nozzle, probably about 10 feet in diameter, emerges from the blimp's bottom and begins a powerful suction. It's sucking up the rocks, and sucking them up really well. It's sucking up about 10 a second, as fast as a waterfall falling up instead of down. "What is that?" exclaims Katra. "Men!" The guards have unsheathed their swords and are looking now at what they can do, but they seem a little lost. I can't blame them. The blimp is gargantuan. I see some of them trying to slice at it, and from the sound I think they won't do enough to make an impact. But they're doing more than I'd expect a sword to do. Maybe they were doused with that potion. I then hear a window open. I see it's one to the side and on the blimp's top floor. A figure of someone maybe a little smaller than Slight and Common and I puts something in his or her mouth and inflates. The person then jumps and squashes one of the swordsmen. Another jump squashes another. With that jump, the guy comes into view, a bloated green toad with a hat almost as tall as him, and my heart lodges to my throat. It's Raleigh! I think I saw a glimpse of Raleigh, hatless, when I was looking for McSweeney at Heathrow years ago, and impersonating a guard to be able to, but I never looked at him close enough to be sure. And even if I did, the last time I could say I really interacted with Raleigh was years ago, back when I was first trying to avenge my father and find the other 4 members of the Fiendish Five. That was so long ago. I hear the clang of a metal cane and look behind me. Slight and Common took the distraction and managed to knock out Bomani. "Let's get out of here while they're distracted," he says, nudging me. "Come on, I think the pyramid's shaking." "Yeah, let's," I say haphazardly. I can't seem to take my eyes off Raleigh. He's taken out 5 guards through 5 jumps, and he finally ends up unbloating. From memory, that's when he can be striked. I think Katra's guards think that too, and they swipe for him. Raleigh then jumps around and cries for someone. "Bugs!" he goes. "On it!" goes an even more familiar voice from the top of the blimp. A girl's voice. She throws what I guess must be a squished blotch of insects. Raleigh catches them in his mouth and blows up again. The other person at the top also takes out some sort of weapon and shoots a blob of what looks like liquid chrome at a guard that may have managed to get a shot into the frog had he not gotten stuck. The blast from the gun must be some sort of instant drying glue. But I'm able to get a better look at her when a light swings around from all the bangs the blimp is making, crashing into walls like a topsy-turvy bulldozer. It's Penelope. I'm truly stunned. "Cooper!" she exclaims. "Penelope!" I say back. "What are you doing?" I say with pure distrust. She doesn't answer, and a second later aims her gun at me and shoots a blast over. I dodge it with a leap. It takes 2 seconds for me to come to terms with something. There are 2 Penelopes I feel I've known. The one who was part of our gang, and the one who betrayed us to La Paradox and traumatized Bentley. I guess that Penelope's the one here, and maybe she always was. I can't resonate with her. I gotta get out of here. I get up where Slight and Common is waiting for me, and I begin to... Oh no, the book! Dodging that blast made me drop it. I turn around. It's laying on the ground, but it's threatening to be sucked up with the rocks. With every second, it's getting a little closer to the vacuum. I run over and grab it just in time, but now I'm in close proximity to where the suction is most powerful. I feel myself getting carried over. I whack my cane on the concrete floor and create a dent where I manage to hold on. I'm not being sucked away, but that could be changed momentarily. My imagination takes me to a shredder or something within the vacuum that's already sucked up those rocks, and I grip even harder. "Sly Cooper?" croaks Raleigh. Oh boy, more bad news. I see Penelope go for another shot, and some sort of ray stops her. She ends up dropping her gun in the pile. I see another ray coming from the exit, attacking the blimp's windows. One of them smashes. Another ray smashes a different window. Penelope must be at the steering wheel right now trying to dodge whatever is attacking her. This makes not only the blimp crash into more wall, but the suction changes course to me. Only for a second is the nozzle aimed squarely at me, but I go flying. And then when the suction swings away from me, I fall in what's left of the rocks. It hurts like heck. I at least manage to hold on to my cane, and more importantly, my book. But a thought occurs to me as I contemplate having saved the book. Those rays, those weren't normal rays of light. Normal rays of light couldn't smash windows and disarm mice. Those were electric shock pistol zaps. A face I actually thought for the longest time I'd never see again looks down at me. "Carmelita, give me your hand," she cries. Feeling for the first time like this is truly a dream. I put the Thievius raccoonus under my left armpit, and my right hand grabs hers. I'm hoisted up, and Slyton Common runs over to help me, grabbing my shirt and commandeering the book. "Who are you guys?" asks Slyton Common. "You must be another one of Sly's ancestors," says a sensuous voice I would recognize from anywhere. Right beside me is Bentley. He has some sort of gizmo he's aiming at the blimp. I think he's scanning something. "We need to run though. Murray's just outside with the van." "Murray's here too?" A second later I realize that's a silly thing to say. Of course he'd be here. But no one corrects me. "We have to get out of here now," says Carmelita. "It's just like the battle of the Pyramid of Jedefre, I know," I say, loudly because the sound of a pyramid burying itself is making it hard to hear, or feel actual relief. What I was going to say to Slyton Common about the book was I read about this battle. I hadn't remembered the name of the pyramid, but I had remembered the story of how he inspired raccoons in poverty to revolt, and then he managed to set bombs on a pyramid that a corrupt pharaoh was using to save their treasure. But first, Slyton Common wanted to make sure no one innocent would get hurt, so he saved a raccoon who was trapped for slavery on a conveyor belt, and managed to get a slice of some sort of treasure hidden way below. There was a personal reason he went for this treasure, but I can't remember what it was. I do remember he ended up confronting one of the guards who was down there too. It all fit for a battle I was told caused the pyramid to crumble because of his explosives. But one way or another, this is the rewritten battle. Other than Bentley wheeling as fast as he can, with the help of some rocket boosters, we all sprint. I look back and I faintly see the blimp disappearing, most likely time traveling, and the rest of the room caving on the unconscious guards. It seems all of us have memorized the proper way out, and all the other guards must have already escaped ahead of us, so we don't have any interference then. It's when we're out, having barely escaped with our lives, when we realize we're not quite in the clear. And yet, maybe we are. 3 men I recognize are fighting the guards, and really giving them a beating. Murray manages one of his big belly flops. I see Dimitri's here too. I never got around to understand his spinning, but he's sure channeling it here. Another guy takes me a minute to recognize, but the broken tooth puts me into a state of even more catharsis. Jim McSweeney, he's with us too. Carmelita and Bentley call the 3 of them forward. "He's here! Sly!" they all say in unison. Even Dimitri, who's used to calling me Cooper or Crackerbox or Unfash Rash. "No time for a hug," says Carmelita, foretelling what we were about to do. "It's chaos around here. We gotta get you home right now." As if to prove our point, everyone turns their heads, and when I do, I see that's where they parked the van, and it's being sabotaged. Pamue, he's hitting at the giant clock I recognize as the main part to Bentley's time machine. That's not good. Carmelita gets him off with a shock from her pistol. "Everyone in!" We pile in to hear the snap and crackle of some loose wiring. Is it okay, Bentley? Shrieks Murray. It's not good. We can still travel, but we need to do it now. Okay, I begin. Then I see Slighton Common hasn't piled into the van yet. What are you waiting for? I call. The woman's right, he says, looking up at me from the van. Things are in chaos here. And not just here, everywhere. Asanoth, Peely, and my son are expecting me at the marketplace. And if your time machine's malfunctioning, I might not be able to get back for them. I need to go make sure they'll be okay. Go! You sure? I exclaim. Yes, go! Slighton Common grins. He holds up the Thievius Raccoonus. I know what I have to do. I nod. The sounds of the faulty wiring prevent me from arguing further. McSweeney slams the door for me. Time circuit's on, Bentley shouts. Murray floors it. I half expect it to wimp out, but it doesn't. The gas manages to go, and we once again travel through time. The electric blue vortex is back all around us. I'm going home. It's only now when I truly feel my bruises, my exhaustion, and most importantly, my pure joy. I look around at everyone catching their breath, faces I would never forget in a million years. My two friends who have been my family for almost all my life, my rather funky and groovy lizard bud, the last remaining man to my father's old gang, who could have in an alternate world been my father figure and wanted to be, and Carmelita. When I last saw her, what were we even talking about that we wanted to finish up but didn't have the time to? I've remembered for the last 3 months. I can't remember at all anymore. I can't take all that's happening right now. I try to fight it, but there's no use. I faint.